I don't think, because this is a threat to, and that field is capable of
wrestling, you will have the first doing best of luck. We got Jacob Tatum there. What would you do with Randy after 7 minutes?
Oh no! Those voices in his head. RKOing the SmackDown General.
Be like eaten up alive by Charlotte, and people, including myself, are like, yeah, Tiffany Stratton needs to get redeemed. She needs to redeem herself. And I thought to myself, like, the only way she's going to get redeemed now, Robin, we can't do another split screen. We can't do another backstage. We can't do any of that. It's got to be dead center in the middle of the ring. And they did that. And here's the thing. Tiffany did so much better was the crowd, because the crowd was massively booing Charlotte. I mean, she could not get a word in Robin at all, because the fans, she was just getting a tremendous amount of heat. And 5 years old, she called out a lot, but
I called it. I get the small victories when I can get. Sadly, Kevin Owens is out of Wrestle Horizon, leaving Randy Orton with. Here on the when I walk through those doors, I want to know on this Friday night. I'm going to meet you guys up there than he did in the last. Oh, my feelings, brother, and thank you, everybody. SmackDown has been the worst pro wrestling show of the entire week. Some weeks out of victory over SmackDown, some weeks on NXT. The two shows that people are talking about during your pro wrestling week. Mm-hmm. Tonight, SmackDown was the best show all week. So far. It's a lot to set up. What are they was absolutely tremendous. The biggest takeaway from tonight, literally the last Friday night, what week in London, Bohemian contract, you will be a main eventer at Roman Reigns laughed, saying that another that has been successfully cashed in. And drastically bow to the tribal chief and thank the tribal chief, only to then end the show and get an all. But that's not the favorite. Paul Heyman didn't know the favorite. Through wanting certain things for WrestleMania, I was one of the very few that kind of towed that line of reality. A lot of people wanted CM Punk to be added tonight to me. That be his favorite. The winner of this triple threat match gets added to John Cena and Cody Rhodes, making that a triple threat match for the WWE. In people's dreams, power, and none of these three men have anything to do with John Cena and Rhodes at once upon a time after the Elimination Chamber. Saying prospect. And The Rock, he will see The Rock when he sees The Rock. He's going to take care of both with the WWE and outside of the lost the Rumble and lost the Chamber. Can't just go and add somebody to with the WWE Championship. It did not make any sense. And why would CM Punk hold that type of power to go ask Paul Heyman to do something like that? And you think that Heyman has the type of power in his own right because he's affiliated with the Anoa'i family, he's got ties to Roman, he's got ties to Dwayne. Why do you think that Paul Heyman had that type of leverage to go grant CM Punk a WWE Championship match if he beat Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania? Why would Heyman go and do that knowing that The Rock is the final boss? And based off comments that CM Punk had said previously, why would The Rock grant that to CM Punk? None of it made any sense, and it would have been almost impossible for WWE to make sense of that. There was only one thing that the favor was going to be. It's not quite WrestleMania-esque, but I actually like it. I'm going to go against the people who think it's lame and it's not enough. The not enough crowd going into WrestleMania. It is enough because there is a personal history there that spans half of a lifetime between CM Punk and Paul Heyman. And just based on that alone, it gives the entire match now a personal feel. Roman Reigns has had the wise man under his thumb, in his grasp, for the entirety of his historic title reign. Paul Heyman could be attributed to Roman Reigns' success over the last 4.5 years. He dominated WWE as one of the greatest WWE champions of all time. You could thank Paul Heyman for that and thank Paul Heyman's leadership for that. He is Roman's wise man. It's like you are watching a baseball team and your star pitcher is pitching a shutout or no-hitter into the 8th inning. He's got so many pitches under his belt. You don't want to wear him out. You don't want to risk injury. You pull him. And you got your star closer there to end the game with 3 outs to go, and he strikes out the side. That's Paul Heyman. That is Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns have been synonymous with each other for the last 4.5, 5 years. The fact that Roman Reigns asked Paul Heyman to tell CM Punk no, and Paul Heyman stood there tonight with tears in his eyes, telling Roman, no, I can't do that. And Roman basically angry with Heyman that he admitted to the world he owes CM Punk this favor. This is real. This is a real story. This is legit. I can't break promise. I'm going to walk CM Punk down the aisle as his wise man at WrestleMania 41. Not only is the friendship and the bond between Punk and Heyman real, not only does it give this match a personal feel, it also takes Roman Reigns out of the equation. And he's not walking into WrestleMania as strong as he used to walk into WrestleMania. This will be his 10th. Probably will not be broken for a very long time. You and I and everybody else may be off this earth by the time a record like that is broken. Mm-hmm. He's walking into WrestleMania without his star closer. He's walking into WrestleMania on the verge of giving up a hit and that no-hitter being broken. Roman Reigns is walking into WrestleMania without Paul Heyman, and that is not Roman Reigns having home field advantage. That is a big fucking deal. Because you and me and everybody else looks at Roman Reigns in the main event, and more times than not, he wins. This is his Super Bowl. This is where he shines. This is where he is at full strength. He's not walking into full strength at WrestleMania. He is not walking in with his wise man, and he's walking into WrestleMania at a huge disadvantage. Is CM Punk and Paul Heyman going to walk out successful? That's the next thing. Is Paul Heyman going to stay in CM Punk's corner? Is Paul Heyman going to guide CM Punk not only to his first WrestleMania main event, but a win in the main event? Or is there going to be some shenanigans? Is there going to be a situation where Paul Heyman says yes, only to then turn on Punk and join Roman again? Is this all a ploy? Is this all playing CM Punk for a fool? Is this all a big game for Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman? It's a possibility. I've seen some people mention that Paul Heyman could eventually align himself with Seth Rollins. I don't want to see that. That doesn't make any sense. But that has also been discussed. I don't think that's going to happen. That's on the lower end of things probably happening at WrestleMania. This is very simple, folks. It's nothing to really cry about. It's not anything to vent frustration on. This gives the match a personal feel. But you're still going to get people saying, what's on the line? What do you mean what's on the line? This is the WrestleMania main event. Roman Reigns and his ego are on the line. Roman Reigns and his top of the bill priority is on the line. You think Roman Reigns wants to lose in the main event of WrestleMania? Of course he doesn't. Of course he doesn't. Roman Reigns doesn't lose in the main event outside last year. This is a personal feel. This is a personal match now. That is what's on the line. Seth Rollins, I don't know what he's doing in this match. Rollins feels like a third wheel. Rollins could end up getting the victory here, but he's in the main event. And that's a big deal for him as well. I thought what they did tonight was great. Punk, a master of his fucking field, a master storyteller. He went back to fucking the old WWE ECW days to tell us his fucking field, a master storyteller. He went back to fucking the old WWE ECW days to tell us the story of, if there's one guy that's going to reach into the bag of, let's go back in time and tell this story and apply it to today and make it make sense, it is CM Punk. That is why he is so fucking great at what he does. He doesn't forget. He takes what happens in the past and he applies it to today. And this, the personal feel, the history with Punk and Paul Heyman, that alone is a WrestleMania main event for all the people crying about Io and Rhea and Bianca. They don't have the history that Punk and Heyman have. They don't have the history that Punk, Rollins, and Reigns have. They don't have Punk bringing in the Shield and dominating WWE. That's the history. All of these guys fit. All of this is a main event. And what I thought tonight happened with this main event, I thought this was great. I thought every bit of this was great. Had a real personal feel, and that is the favorite. CM Punk requested Paul Heyman to walk him into WrestleMania as his wise man and stand in his corner. But like I said, is this a game for Roman Reigns or Paul Heyman? Will Paul Heyman turn on CM Punk? Is this going to just be at WrestleMania, or is this going to be a permanent thing? Will Paul Heyman leave Roman to side with Punk? I don't know. But I love what they did tonight, and they ended the show in grand fashion, and Roman Reigns was left laying after a GTS. Close SmackDown, excellent. The other big thing that happened tonight, Rey Fenix, the other Lucha brother, debuted tonight on Friday night in Chicago. Tonight, he had in the ring for his debut, not the rumored Andrade. They may be building to something there. We don't know yet. But Nathan Frazier. He wrestled Rey Fenix one-on-one tonight. And Rey Fenix got his WWE run off, started with a bang. I thought the presentation for Rey Fenix, the second home base for All Elite Wrestling, so they know Rey Fenix very, very well. And there have been many an AEW show at the All-State Arena. I thought Rey Fenix did a very good job tonight. Not the best match with Nathan Frazier. Not the best showcase for Frazier himself. But Rey Fenix, he won. Great debut. They gave him a little bit of mic time. And he was very emotional, telling everybody that this has been a lifelong dream for him. He didn't think it was going to happen, but he can finally say and happily say that he is WWE. We will go over what happened there. Jacob Fatu is now the #1 contender for the United States Championship. It is now signed, sealed, and delivered. Jacob Fatu will challenge LA Knight for the United States title at WrestleMania. Naomi and Jade Cargill get their WrestleMania match. That has been made official. And Nick Aldis, he says Randy Orton right now does not have a spot at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. Kevin Owens came out tonight and announced that he needs neck surgery and that we may have seen the last of Kevin Owens in WWE. He will be missing WrestleMania. He's going to be gone for a very long time, and Randy Orton and Kevin Owens canceled off the WrestleMania card. What does this mean for Randy Orton? Where does that leave him, and what are the plans? We will talk about them right here tonight on the official post show, right here on Off the Script. I thank you guys very much for joining me, man. We got it off with a legit bang, thanks to Best in the World Matt with a $500 super chat. Thank you guys very much for joining me. We got 2,700 people in here on YouTube on a Friday night. We got another couple of hundred on X right now as well. Thank you guys very much for all your support wherever you may be watching me. Speaking of streaming, we are going to stick to YouTube X specifically, man. I am Xing out the Twitch part of it. There's no audience over there. There's little to no growth over there. They don't push pro wrestling content over there. So I'm specifically saving Twitch for whenever I stream gaming or whatever. That is it. So no live post shows simultaneously streamed to Twitch, only X and YouTube. So if you guys are wondering where that is, I'm getting rid of that. It's just there's no benefit to it, and it's very simple. Just 2 X and YouTube, and that is it. So hopefully you guys understand. Tonight there is a goal. I don't do the goals all that often because there really isn't anything to set a goal for. But tonight we have 2 previous goals met. We've done one for hologram. Yes, everybody's favorite hologram, the hologram mask. We reached the goal of $1,000. I wore the hologram mask for an entire AEW Dynamite stream several months ago. And we have another goal here tonight. Not only did we do hologram, we did Penta. We did $1,000 for Penta. Still waiting on that mask. I believe that's coming in May. Grande Americano. We did that one as well. $1,000 met. So we're 3 for 3 on all the lucha masks. Hologram, Penta, and Grande Americano. Those 2 are still being shipped. Tonight we're doing Rey Fenix because WWE, if you guys aren't aware, WWE has now released a Rey Fenix replica mask. And the goal is set for $1,000. That's the rule. Matt already got us halfway there. If we reach the goal of $1,000 tonight, I will be ordering this bad boy tomorrow. And we will be wearing this on a stream in the future. The entire stream, I will be wearing this Rey Fenix mask. So if you guys want to get in on that and have some fun, that's a big deal, man. Rey Fenix got his mask. Replica mask now available on WWEshop.com. So that's the goal, man. I know the OTS audience, you guys love to have some fun. And there's 2,800 of you in here right now. JD Phoenix on our upcoming stream. Make sure you guys go check out all the other content on the channel. Plenty of it. Today we uploaded a video. First extra in a couple of weeks. Starting to feel a little bit better. I got to get back into the groove of things. Today we uploaded an extra. We talked about the Kevin Owens situation. We're going to talk about the Kevin Owens situation tonight because it was made official. On that video today, I gave you guys a possibility in regards to Randy Orton and what he could do at WrestleMania. So go check that out. There's a lot said in that video and other news for the day today on Off the Script. So go check that out. Make sure you guys also hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Hit that thumbs up. We got 600 likes right now. Another 400 for 1,000. That's the goal. If you guys are watching after the fact, leave a comment down below in the comment section. Every little bit helps us out in the YouTube algorithm. Super chats are open, like I mentioned. $1,000 is the goal for the Rey Fénix mask. And tonight we are sponsored by our great friends over at Blue Chew. BlueChew.com, code JD at checkout. Make sure you guys go and get your free sample today, courtesy of the podcast. That is BlueChew.com, code JD at checkout. All you need to do is pay the $5 shipping and handle. Start Monday Night Raw off with, as usual in Chicago, CM Punk. CM Punk opens the show. And I'm so happy. I got to say this. I'm so happy that we are back to normal 8 p.m. Eastern SmackDown. I can deal with it if it's 1 week. I could deal with it then. 3, 4 straight weeks. We got SmackDown and Raw, both shows across the United Kingdom, across all of Europe. We got 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Raw and SmackDowns, man. It really threw my schedule for a craze. I was very out of it. These late night streams, I just feel like I work a lot better in the evening. I'm a little bit more caffeinated. You know, the early afternoon streams kind of mess with my schedule a little bit. I am very happy to be back here with you guys normally at the time we're scheduled to go live. Chicago was loud. They rivaled any of the United. Oh my goodness. Oh my. David Theering with a 500 super chat. Oh my goodness. This guy let's make the Rey Fénix mask goal for the entire stream a reality. Just as best in the world, Matt said, and I'm going to follow suit. Let's celebrate and have a great rest of our WrestleMania season. As far as Rey Fénix goes, hashtag Tony Khan fumbles another one. OTS for life. Oh my goodness. David, thank you so very much, brother. You are fucking unbelievable. Best in the world, Matt. You guys are great. I got the best community, bar none. Second place goes to the Solid Monster. You got a great community too. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate you and all the love, man. You really do change the way that I look at things, man, and I'm very grateful to have you guys. It's been a very, very difficult month of March for more than one reason. Hopefully one of these days I can explain to you how I felt through the last 2.5, 3 weeks. I'm still waiting on a couple of things to find a resolution for. But without you guys, man, I genuinely don't know where my mental state would be. And every time I sit in this chair, every time I sit in front of this microphone, every time I sit in front of this camera, I feel like I'm on a completely different level. Could ever convey to you. And I got the best community in the entire space, bar none. Anything you guys do, we have set a precedent. You guys have set a precedent. And I don't know how Jesse can't love CM Punk, but the work that he's doing now, personal feelings aside, how he left AEW aside, I don't know how you are not enjoying what CM Punk is doing here in the WWE. CM Punk opens the show. These crowds in Chicago, this crowd in Chicago, particularly tonight, rival the European tour. They were loud. CM Punk. Love. Appreciate it. CM Punk. Loves how Jesse can't love CM Punk, but the work that he's doing now, personal feelings aside, not enjoying what CM Punk is doing here in the WWE. CM Punk opens the show. These crowds in Chicago, this crowd in Chicago, particularly tonight, rival the European tour. They were loud. They chanted all night. They were into the 3-hour show. It's almost as if WWE didn't leave the United Kingdom or Amsterdam or Brussels or Italy, wherever they were on the European tour. Chicago was great. He's opening the show in Chicago. There's no better way. CM Punk said they told him the best television audiences he heard were overseas, but he told them they were coming to Chicago. He then takes a cameraman on the ring apron and takes the camera from the cameraman and starts filming the crowd. It's Punk Cam, says Joe Tessitore. CM Punk takes the camera and he starts filming around the arena. CM Punk takes the camera and films the hard camera side, where you see absolutely nothing but a sea of people. There's not a fucking empty seat to be had at the Allstate Arena. Something that you would never see on a Wednesday night. Something that you'd never see over on the other show. Look, fans on the hard camera side. Wow, man, what a sight! The camera on Wednesday night and show us what's on the hard camera side on Wednesday. Zero. I got to get my shots in. That fan base hates me. I want to get them. Punk says he wasn't supposed to be here. He says he was born with the cord around his neck and he turned blue. He said his goal is to make new fans every single time he appears. I think that's a lot of people's goals. That's my goal. It's a lot of people in my position's goal. We want to make new fans every single week. He said this week he wanted to thank and appreciate his existing 16,000 plus friends and fans. Fans chanted, "You deserve it. You deserve it. Not supposed to be here, but I've earned it," he said. He said that's when he said he wanted to thank his wife, April, before anyone else. Fans chanted, "AJ Lee, AJ Lee." He says she might be mad at him for that. He says his puppy, Larry, you can chant his name. He's not going to get mad at that. Fans then obviously chanted, Larry. Jesse doesn't seem to think so. Sent him a picture of Thank, who helped him get to where he is today. He says he wouldn't be who he is without that city, and he thanked them from the bottom and put a beating on Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania. Paul Heyman walked out and introduced himself, did his old spiel. Crowd chanted along with Chicago, and he apologized for being late to his best friend in the world, the Second City Saint. He's really buttering up CM Punk here with all the nicknames. Heyman asked if he could enter the ring. Paul said, "Well, I was just about to thank you, but sure, come on in." As if he's welcoming him into his home. We got a loud ECW chant, probably a shoot. Says he can't escape it. Anytime he obviously got the crowd to chant even louder, ECW, ECW. Heyman said tonight, "Ask not Chicago what you can do for your wise man. Ask what your wise man can do for you." Says he wants to be the voice of the voiceless. He told Punk, "Damn it, you belong here." Says he belongs in Chicago, and he is in the main event of WrestleMania. This is the last time they were standing together in this ring, in this city. Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and 2, please take me with you. They put him through the table, outside the ring, at Madison Square, taken off. Then Punk had Hell in a Cell with Drew McIntyre, and the beating that Punk took was so severe, he said to Punk, "I know you." Said he begged him and pleaded with him after War Games or after Survivor Series, and he had no one else to turn to. He asked him to please, said yes. You then saved the family. You deserve all the credit in the world, and for that, I thank you. And I have to ask of you. Punk then said, Heyman asked, he said, Roman Reigns is arriving soon and are angry. Punk asked if Roman was here yet. Will be here soon. Punk said, although the favor is not only your face, but Roman's face as well. So we can all do this together in the ring later tonight. And the segment came to a close. Last week, Punk came out in Chicago. Hamming it up in front of his friends and family, in front of his hometown crowd. And really gave you a backstory about everything leading up to tonight. Out comes Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman clearly has a lot on his mind. That was conveyed to everybody tonight. Not only did Paul Heyman get CM Punk the favor of the WrestleMania main event, it's in the contract. He lived up to his promise. Punk said that's not it, though. Thank you, but that's not it. So Paul Heyman sat with this all week. And he's out there first thing worried about what the favor is because he doesn't want to upset Roman Reigns in any way, shape, or form. So please tell me what that favor is now before Roman Reigns gets here so that I can tell him later. I don't want to surprise him with anything. Punk said, is he not here yet? If he's not here yet, I think I'll wait and tell everybody when we can do this together later tonight. I love the fact that they made Paul Heyman sweat. I love the fact that CM Punk knew how much it stressed Paul Heyman out, that it would make Roman Reigns weak. Because not only is it a psychological advantage for CM Punk to get Paul Heyman, but now Roman Reigns is starting to get a little bit more in his feels. I like this. This is great. And as per usual, which the other show could really learn a thing or two, what happens in the opening segment plays out in the end. They don't do that a lot on Wednesday nights. This was a big cliffhanger to get you to wait around for the end of the show. A big, huge storyline development happening within the first 30 minutes. That's going to play out in the last 30 minutes. Love it. That's how you get people hooked. Big hook for Friday Night SmackDown. I thought this was great. No better person to tell a story right now in WWE than CM Punk. He's firing on all cylinders. Everything about it's great. Loving this so far. Well, wasn't really too pleased with that 1 week where they got really lame and very cheesy, and they're all pointing at the WrestleMania logo, and we got the triple threat match kind of official, but not really official, because they all pointed at the WrestleMania logo. They really have turned it up the last couple of weeks. They really have gotten everybody back on the same page. They really have now made this feel like a WrestleMania main event. And I love the fact that the favor is being played out now instead of holding on to it for an even later date. There's no better time to cash in that favor than at WrestleMania. In WWE, a long time coming, not only for Rey Fenix, but the fans of the Lucha Brothers. A lot has been said about Rey Fenix and his time in AEW. A lot of injury time. We heard from Rey Fenix with some cryptic tweets that were then deleted. Tony Khan kept him on ice. We don't know what the real story is. The rumor is that the Lucha Brothers were contract tampering, and they were negotiating with WWE while under AEW contract. We don't know if that's legit or not. We don't really have the full truth of the matter. Rey Fenix, he was kept on ice, presumably signed an NDA, as did Penta. Penta was a free agent way before Rey Fenix. So he was free and clear to go to WWE. But Penta, nobody knew the fate of Penta. Nobody. He was on ice until at least October, November. All of a sudden, Tony Khan woke up one day and said, you know what? I'm going to get rid of Miro. I'm going to get rid of Ricky Starks. And I'm going to get rid of Rey Fenix. Goodbye. October, November. All of a sudden, Tony Khan woke up one day and said, you know what? I'm going to get rid of Miro. I'm going to get rid of Ricky Starks. And I'm going to get rid of Rey Fenix. Goodbye. He let all three top-tier talents go. Not using them. Why pay them? I'm not using them. They're doing nothing but causing me negativity and headache. But Tony's the only one to blame for that. Tony's pettiness is the only thing to blame for that. His actions are to blame. He should have been using Ricky Starks. He should have been using Rey Fenix. Simple as that. They didn't want to be there anymore. One day he woke up and Rey Fenix was a free man. And as soon as he was a free man, NDA signed, showed up in WWE legitimately 3 weeks later. It's the way it should be. WWE tonight got their luchador, they got Rey Fenix, and the presentation was great. He looked like a bigger star in one night than he did in the last 2 years of his AEW run. Not to take anything away from the Lucha Brothers and what they did in AEW. They were part of some of that company's best matches ever. They had some of the best tag team matches that you will ever see. I was in the building for that Young Bucks and Lucha Brothers steel cage match. I think Jesse was in the building as well. We were just sitting on opposite sides of the venue. That was an unbelievable tag team match. That ladder match at the first. They were not on the center. They made rock. I mean, that's a big spot for Phoenix. Here's the history happened. And Phoenix knows this. TV match-wise, I thought what happened here was not the pyro mess. Without the crowd and without the loud arena, What I heard from tonight, I think Phoenix's music is actually better than Penta's. I don't know if it's Def Rebel or not, but I like, from what I heard, Phoenix's music better than Penta's. So we get into the actual match. Frazier was already in the ring after we got back from commercial break. And Phoenix gets his entrance. He got a great reaction from Chicago, chanting his name, Phoenix, Phoenix. Phoenix and Frazier opened with flips, and they ended with an early standoff with some chain wrestling, and the crowd gave them a standing ovation. Phoenix hits a dodge between the ropes before Frazier with a side kick. Frazier sent Phoenix to the outside as he tried for a dive between the ropes, and Frazier, he normally hits this 10 times out of 10. On the dive, on the tope suicida, he clipped the middle rope and did not get all of it. So when he flew himself through the ropes, he clipped the middle rope, and he did not land completely flush on Rey Fenix. He barely grazed him. Crowd was giving him, in Chicago, obviously a little bit of a hard time. Chance of you fucked up, you fucked up. They quickly got back into the ring, and they made people forget about that pretty quickly. Phoenix went up top in the ring, soared for a dive onto Frazier at ringside, back outside, and we go into a commercial break. Come back from break. Frazier and Phoenix battling out on the top rope. Frazier leapt up from the canvas, up top on the top rope for a springboard superplex and a final cut neck breaker for a 2 count. Frazier went back up top and looked for a Phoenix splash. Kind of sloppy, but he rolled through, missed. Phoenix moved out of the way. Phoenix and Frazier trapped across the top rope, or had Frazier trapped across the top rope, and ran across the rope for an impressive leaping kick. Fire driver by Phoenix. Frazier got a 2 count out of it, kicked out of it. Now, the fire driver is what people were complaining about on social media, because a lot of people were claiming that this should have been the end of the match, and it was not. So Frazier gets up at a 2. Frazier gets up, nailed Phoenix with an enziguri to the head. He found himself on the defensive again. Phoenix hits him with a super kick. Phoenix hit Frazier with a goodbye amigo kick, is what he's calling it, and then hoisted him on his shoulders and finished him off with the Mexican Muscle Buster for the 1, 2, 3. And that was Rey Fenix's WWE debut. So there was a couple of spots here that were kind of botchy. The dive through the ropes on Frazier, that was botched as Frazier clipped the middle rope. There was a sequence of kicks where it looked like Phoenix did a big spinning back kick, and it didn't really flush hit Frazier. You know, these things will be worked on. It's his first match. Frazier's probably got himself being a ball of nerves, wrestling in front of 17,000 fucking people. I mean, the guy is used to wrestling in front of 200 people at the Performance Center. I mean, this is 17,000 at the Allstate Arena. So I'm going to let it slide. Frazier is way too fucking great to spin him on a fucking botch here and a botch there. I'm not going to sit here and take away from Frazier, who's naturally just great every time he's out there. I thought this was impressive, and I thought this was a very good matchup for Rey Fenix's first WWE match. After the match, Byron Saxton quickly got in the ring and interviewed Phoenix. Phoenix said he had a lot of history in Chicago. Obviously, he competed with his brother and the Death Triangle. He was actually in a trios match with Rey Mysterio and Bandito against the Young Bucks and Kota Ibushi at the original All In show in 2018. That was in Schaumburg at the Now Arena. Tonight was the rebirth of Rey Fenix. He says he was reborn with rage. Amino. How do you pronounce that? Amino. No. Like he's on amino acids. As he concluded, I am WWE Animo. Looked like he got very emotional. Looks like he got very emotional, almost watery-eyed. Finally being here in WWE. I'm happy. I'm happy he's here. I'm happy Phoenix is finally free from Guantanamo Bay. I'm sure Tony Khan was watching the fucking match, watching SmackDown tonight, seething with steam coming out of his ears. I thought this was a fun debut. It's only going to get better. They've already announced next week Phoenix has got another match against Humberto Carrillo. And again, this is something that I actually like because Santos Escobar is the man who was brought to the main roster many, many years ago with the idea that Legado was going to recreate the image of Lucha Libre and what Santos wanted it to be. Now we got people like Andrade looking for a spot, and Rey Fenix is looking for a spot. His guys are letting him down. We don't really know what's going on here. But Humberto is going one-on-one with Phoenix next week. That should be a banger. That should be a banger. Like it. Speaking of Legado, they were watching Rey Fenix in the back. As Berto said, that was, I don't really know. But it looks like they got all the luchas together. They got Santos and Legado with Andrade, and now Legado with Phoenix. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but it makes sense as far as the overall storyline of what Legado is, who Legado are. Their whole mission statement was to be brought to the main roster because that's exactly what it was in NXT. Recreate Lucha Libre in their image. We moved away from that. They could have did that with Rey Mysterio, but they didn't. Mm-hmm. Now Rey Fenix is on the roster, and he's one of the most heralded luchadors in the entire world. Now they may be doing that with him. But I also said if we do end up getting a Phoenix versus Andrade feud, I think this is good for Andrade as well because Andrade, he needs something important to do. He's way too good to be sitting on the sidelines. I honestly feel like Andrade works better as a heel. And I honestly think if Andrade and Rey Fenix end up feuding, what a match that would be. But it would give Andrade a story in itself. How many luchadors has Triple H brought in? We got Rey Fenix. We got Dragon Lee. We got Penta. Santos is there. Andrade seemingly feels like a lost soul on Friday night. You don't think he feels the heat? You don't think he's starting to feel overshadowed? I'm the best luchador in the world. I might not wear a mask, but I'm the best lucha. I'm the best Mexican professional wrestler on this roster. I don't give a shit who Triple H brings in here. That's his story. Feeling overlooked. Feeling overshadowed by all the luchas coming on in. I'm the benchmark. You go through me. Andrade should start selling that frustration. He needs to start getting angry. I don't know what they're doing with him. But hopefully this is something that they could really use to get him back to television and really start to flesh out who Andrade should be moving forward on WWE television. Drew McIntyre. He addressed Damian Priest while wearing his new eye patch. Drew McIntyre looks like he should be the governor on The Walking Dead. He looks pretty fucking cool with the eye patch, man. I gotta admit. He said Damian Priest profited off of screwing him. Drew said with the eye patch over his right eye, because he got real glass in it, no one cares about Priest unless he's feasting off of his scraps. He said all he asked for is for him to explain how he's wrong and pokes holes in his logic and face him like a man. But he didn't. He says he did what he always does and he hid in the shadows. He said after shards of glass got in his eye, he may never be the same. He says he's going to pray, and everyone knows when Drew McIntyre prays, bad things happen. I love the way this was shot. The music that kind of went over this was great. And if you thought Drew McIntyre couldn't get any more fucking cooler, man, now he's got a goddamn eye patch on. Told you, man, if there are two guys that are going to bring what a lot of fans looked at as a WrestleMania match, McIntyre storytelling is always fantastic. And Damian Priest, man, when you want to turn Damian Priest up in the intensity department, he delivers a fucking very straightforward New York style promo where every time he speaks, Damian Priest sounds like a legit badass. So there's two guys that could absolutely sell you on nothing. It's going to be Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. So they got a face-to-face next week. We'll see what happens there. I'm looking forward to it. Eye Patch Drew is awesome. And this was great. Damian Priest also later in the show got one of these vignettes, and he also delivered a great promo. Byron Saxton interviewed Braun Strowman, who said he has had enough of Jacob Fatu. He says he'll show him why they call him the monster among men. And then he'll go to WrestleMania and win the United States Championship. Solo and Tama Tonga walked in. Solo laughed and said, Strowman is finished. LA Knight walked in and told Braun to keep his eyes on the prize. Solo says he's got real balls interrupting him like that. Tama Tonga says he should be worried about him tonight. And LA Knight mocked the noises that Tama Tonga usually does. That's the thing now. That's slowly getting over with the audience, which is great. LA Knight versus Tama Tonga. One-on-one as LA Knight continues to battle what is left of the Bloodline here. Bloodline 2.0. LA Knight started things off with some strikes against Tama Tonga. Came back with a drop kick. So the drop kick wasn't enough. Then he dropped Tama Tonga with a big suplex. Tonga comes back, trips up Knight, and he takes advantage. Knight had Tonga trapped in the corner. Went for a bunch of stomps in the corner, followed up by a running knee. LA Knight then sent Tama Tonga out of the ring, and he threw his head into the announce table repeatedly. Solo Sikoa got on the apron to distract the referee, which allowed Tama Tonga to send LA Knight crashing to the floor below, and he crashes right into the announce table pretty hard, and we go into a commercial break. SmackDown comes back. LA Knight's fighting out of a Tama Tonga rest hold here. He tries to regain the momentum of the match. He takes Tama Tonga out of nowhere victory roll for a 2 count. Tama Tonga comes back, big clothesline, and it was a vicious clothesline. Solo Sikoa is on the outside cheering on Tama Tonga. Tonga gets up on the middle turnbuckle. He attempted a big diving elbow. He mocked LA Knight's elbow drop from the top rope, but all the mocking, he missed. LA Knight fought back. He got some momentum here. Big strikes, neck breaker. He slammed Tonga in the middle of the ring. He dropped his signature elbow on Tama Tonga, the one where he sits up on the second turnbuckle, jumps up to the top, and then delivers the elbow. Beautiful move. LA Knight, he had the BFT on Tama Tonga, but couldn't connect. Solo Sikoa tried to hit LA Knight with a Samoan spike, with the referee distracted. LA Knight managed to dodge it, roll up by Tonga, reversed as LA Knight finished the match off with a BFT and a 1-2-3. Pretty academic here, pretty straightforward. LA Knight gonna win as he is the United States champion, as he's looking to get a WrestleMania spot. He needs a little bit of momentum going into Las Vegas. Tama Tonga slowly but surely getting over with his signature animalistic grunts. And he's looking good. You know, he's entertaining. I could see Tama Tonga a little bit further along if given the right push. We don't know exactly when his tag team partner's coming back, Tangaloa, but I could absolutely see Tama Tonga doing his thing solo if they wanted to, you know, but we're not there yet. And he is doing quite well for himself in the limited role that they have him right now. And the crowd is seemingly enjoying what he's doing. So this was a very fundamental match here between LA Knight and Tama Tonga, and LA Knight, the United States Championship, looking for a spot on the WrestleMania card. That was determined tonight. between Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu. We'll get into that a little bit later. Paul Heyman. He was waiting in the parking garage for Roman Reigns to arrive. He was interviewed by Byron Saxton. And Byron Saxton comes up, and Paul Heyman wants nothing to do with Byron Saxton. Heyman was annoyed. Saxton asked if Punk has given him any indication of what the favor is. Heyman turned to the camera and not to Byron Saxton and said, okay, for the record, no matter what the favor is, the answer is yes. Okay? So he looked into the camera and told the world that no matter what the favor is, the answer is already yes. That's it. So tell me and get me out of the jam I'm in with my tribal chief. In the background, a black SUV arrived. Paul Heyman has his hands out, ready to embrace the tribal chief. He assumed it was Roman Reigns, but it was not Roman Reigns. Out comes Seth Rollins. Rollins wearing his funky glasses and an all gray jacket, pants, jumpsuit, whatever. It's not as colorful as he usually wears. It's not as flamboyant as he usually wears. But Rollins was dressed up here in Chicago. He told Heyman he looks horrible. He told Heyman that it looks like you had a bad week. Me, on the other hand, I've had a great week. Whereas Paul Heyman has dug himself into a hole with this CM Punk favor. He says, whatever the favor is, I want you to know it also affects me. So he wants to be present to hear what the favor is later. He assured Heyman everything is going to be all right. Paul Heyman's starting to sweat, folks. Paul Heyman is starting to sweat. We go from what has been a decent first hour. You got Punk, you got Heyman, you got the story. You got LA Knight, Tama Tonga, which was very simplistic, very straightforward WWE TV match, non-title. Then we get into what was probably the biggest train wreck in their feud, and what is the biggest train wreck so far on the road to WrestleMania. This entire feud has been a fucking train derailment. Tiffany Stratton and the android, Charlotte Flair. Tiffany makes her entrance. Charlotte makes her entrance first, then Tiffany makes her entrance. Tiffany gets a great reaction. Chicago loved Tiffany Stratton. Wade Barrett's in the ring as he was tasked with moderating this segment. Charlotte extended her arms as Barrett introduced her, just kind of playing up to the crowd. Do you hear that? She says, as the crowd is booing her. She said, now that's power. No, I don't think that's power. That's people, 17,000 of them, wanting you off their TV. That is not power. Tiffany asked Chicago what time it was, and all 17,000 of them yelled Tiffy time. Charlotte then said, very sarcastically, "Aw, that's so cute." Wade Barrett asked Charlotte to explain why she chose Tiffany to be her WrestleMania opponent, and does she think it was a wise choice now? Charlotte said Tiffany needed a moment, and she hadn't done any charity work lately. Charity work? WWE gave her the Royal Rumble upon return, and she's done nothing to really even earn a WrestleMania spot, let alone a championship match. Tiffany needed a moment, and she hadn't done any charity work lately. She said Tiffany's desperation leaks through. She said she wanted to show the fans in Chicago that there were absolutely no comparisons needed. No comparisons at all between the Queen and Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany then asked Charlotte, "Are you done?" She asked if she also got her woo in. Tiffany said her biggest competitor has been the fans, And she always loses that battle and always wills. Now, speaking to Charlotte Flair, Charlotte's biggest competitor has always been the fans. She said she acted like nothing gets to her. She said, no matter how many titles she's won, or how many titles she will win, she'll always come in second to her daddy, Ric Flair. She said she'll come in second to her at WrestleMania. Charlotte then tried to ask Tiffany a question, and Chicago legitimately booed her out of the fucking building to a point where Charlotte didn't even get the question out. She did not even continue the promo. She put the microphone down, let the fans do what they had to do. She tried again. She did not get out what she needed to say. She just stopped. And then what came after this? After the crowd so vehemently booed Charlotte Flair, I feel like Charlotte was forced to just reroute, forget what she was going to say, and she completely went off script. And that's when they both went off script. As soon as Charlotte went off script, Tiffany, I feel, went off the script. No pun intended. This degenerated into a scripted promo that turns into a worked promo or a shoot promo. Worked shoot promo, however you want to word it. We went from, okay, this is what you ladies are going to go out there and say. The crowd sabotaged the promo. Charlotte went off the script, said what she thought was best, and that Tiffany also was thrown off her game, and she had to go off the script as well. And that is just what her opponents of the past have told her the last 10 years. Because it still rings true today. Everybody thinks that of Charlotte no matter how many times we see her. She said everyone talks about her dad. She's getting booed again, loudly. Charlotte leaned into the corner and smiled as the fans chanted for Charlotte and booed Charlotte. She walked back to the center of the ring. Tiffany then says, "What's wrong, Charlotte? Does the cat got your tongue?" Sounds like a second grade line, but here we are. Charlotte asks what the fans would like her to say. Legitimately, she was so flabbergasted with the reaction. What would you guys like me to say? What would you like me to say? So she just concedes. Charlotte said Tiffany can have the last word. Go ahead. Tiffany asked Charlotte, what were you doing at the age of 25? She said Charlotte was trying to be a volleyball star, drinking in her daddy's basement. What am I doing at 25, says Tiffany. I'm walking into WrestleMania as the WWE Women's Champion. She said if this is just another match to her, it actually seems like she's gotten to her. She told Charlotte that outside of the ring, she isn't the queen of shit. Charlotte mocked Tiffany's high-pitched voice. Tiffany called her a Nepo baby. Charlotte comes back and says, Nepo queen. Everybody's a Nepo baby nowadays. Stephanie McMahon calls their Nepo babies. John Cena calls Cody Rhodes a Nepo baby. Tony Khan is a Nepo baby. Charlotte mocked Tiffany's high voice and said, nuh-uh, it's Nepo queen to you. And number one Nepo baby. Tiffany said after WrestleMania, she'll be just like she is outside the ring. Alone. What's your record, Charlotte? 0-3. Tiffany, woo! Charlotte Flair as she left the ring. Charlotte said, Tiffany, is that why Kaiser is in my DMs? That's the way the segment came to an end. I don't know how this started out as a face-to-face that degenerated into Charlotte calling Tiffany a Nepo baby, Charlotte admitting that she's a Nepo baby, Tiffany then coming back saying that no matter what you've done in the ring, outside the ring, you're going to be alone. And when what's your record outside the win, Charlotte? 0-3. Meaning that Charlotte has now been through 3 different divorces. Charlotte then said, Tiffany, is that why Kaiser is in your DM? Honey, Kaiser is not in your DMs. He would be a goddamn fucking idiot if he was in your DMs while he's dating Tiffany Stratton. That is never going to happen. That is so unrealistic that it's fucking laughable. And I don't believe that we've degenerated this fucking feud into Nepo baby, divorce, 0-3, your last 3 men left you. Is that why Kaiser is in my DM? Charlotte is one of the most unlikable talents on air that WWE has ever produced. This is not a new thing. She is one of the most unlikable characters in the history of WWE. I don't know why anybody there thought it was a good decision to have her come back and give her the Royal Rumble. This has been fucking disaster from the word rumble. I don't believe that anybody here is looking at this and is proud of what this feud is 2 weeks before WrestleMania. This segment has been awful. This segment was awful. Every segment that they've been in has been awful. I don't even know what the story is. I don't get any emotion from this. I don't really get a sense of this feeling like a WrestleMania match. This shit is so fucking bad that I feel it's going to bomb at WrestleMania because we all know what exactly is going to happen. WWE is going to be stupid enough to give Charlotte Flair the Women's Championship, and they will embrace all of this negativity and just have Charlotte win the title. Meanwhile, all I'm thinking is get this woman off TV. She does not make a difference at all in the division in a positive way. Anytime she's on TV, it negatively impacts the division. Nobody cares to see her. Nobody wants to see her. Nobody has a desire to cheer her. She's only there for herself. She doesn't give a shit about anybody in the division but herself. She completely undermines every talent that she's in the ring with. And I'm not just saying that as a podcaster sitting here in front of a camera. You physically see it. You saw it in this feud. 3 weeks ago, Charlotte Flair basically had everything clued in onto what Tiffany was saying, and she undermined Tiffany, and everything that Tiffany said she had a fucking answer for. How did she know what Tiffany was going to say? So much so that everything Tiffany said, Charlotte had an answer that you could not answer back. Before Charlotte had the fucking words out of her mouth, Tiffany was buried. Now, you want me to sit here and embrace this as, oh man, I can't wait to watch. I don't believe people had predicted this match 6 months ago, and this is what it has become 2 weeks before WrestleMania. Tiffany Stratton doesn't stand the fucking chance. She doesn't. Charlotte's going to politic her way to a championship, and this division on SmackDown, if you thought it was bad with Nia, wait till you get Charlotte as the women's champion. You want this woman to break all sorts of records. You want this woman to break John Cena's record if he breaks 17. You want this woman to break her father's. What difference does it make? What difference does it make? She's known for one thing and one thing only. Nobody gives a fuck about her. If you think Charlotte Flair is a great wrestler, by all means, she is a great wrestler. But if you think Charlotte Flair has made any sort of positive impact on the women's division, you are fucking mental. I don't remember one reign that this woman had. I don't remember one match outside maybe a handful of matches in 8 years that this woman has had that are great. None of them made a fucking difference in anything. I don't believe we are sitting here and there are people out there that advocate that Charlotte is the best women's performer in all of wrestling. This woman is absolutely dreadful. She's a disaster to everyone she's in the ring with, every build she's a part of, and every women's division that she's been a part of. She's been the pariah. She's been the fucking absolute cancer that the division doesn't need. Tiffany Stratton doesn't deserve this shit. Is Tiffany lighting the world on fire? No. She's obviously got things she needs to work on. She's very good in the ring. I won't say she's great. She gets by. There's a great canvas there that could be molded into something great. She's a terrible promo. She is a fucking terrible promo. Has she gotten better over the last couple of weeks? It's not really much to really compare to. We went from god-awful to bad. At least she dropped the whole fucking Valley Girl shit. Tippy time and, toodles. I'm glad she dropped that. You can't be doing that with Charlotte Flair because she's gonna eat you alive. She's gonna fucking take that and she's gonna undermine you and she's gonna bury you. It's exactly what she did a couple weeks ago in that face-to-face split-screen promo that we all fucking dissected. This woman, she doesn't deserve what she's getting right now. She's completely undermined. She's going into a match a complete fucking underdog. This does not feel like a WrestleMania build. This does not feel like a WrestleMania match. Awful. Charlotte Flair, listen, I don't want to sit here and compare what she's done personally in her personal life to what we see on screen. But the fact of the matter is, if you need to dig into the fact that Charlotte Flair has 3 divorces and she's winless in personal life with men, and she needs to go out there and say, Kaiser's in my DMs. Bro, what are we doing? How is that looked at as, yeah, man, that's a great WrestleMania song? If I'm Triple H, I'm fucking doing the bare minimum for this match. I'm having Tiffany go over, and we're moving Charlotte Flair on from whatever, man. She cannot be at the top of this division. She can't. Charlotte Flair as the champion in this division will kill the entire division.